Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking all about dating.
Ooh, fun.
And especially for those of you in your 30s and 40s,
All right.
we're going to be dissecting this audiobook that really dives into this topic.
Okay.
And it's called The Bearable Lightness of Dating.
Okay.
And it is packed with so much relatable humor and so many thought-provoking insights.
Yep.
So are you ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's so interesting is how this book dives into the concept of the meantime.
The meantime, that seems intriguing.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So it's all about those relationships that, they just feel temporary. Like they're just a placeholder.
Yeah.
Until the real thing comes along.
Right.
So the author really encourages women to become aware of these meantime men and these meantime relationships that they're having so they can make more conscious choices in their dating life.
So instead of just kind of drifting from one meantime to another,
Right.
it's about breaking free of that cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the patterns and making intentional decisions about, who you're spending your time with and what kind of relationship you actually want.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But, I mean, let's be real. Dating in your 30s and 40s, it can feel like a pressure cooker
Yes.
of expectations.
Right.
There's this
A lot of pressure.
big societal message that time is running out
Yes.
to get married, to have kids.
Oh, totally. And the book really tackles that head on. I think what the author argues is that women who actually wait longer to marry often have an advantage.
Okay.
They're usually more mature.
Right.
They're more financially stable.
Yeah.
They have a better sense of what they're looking for.
That makes sense. You've had more time to figure things out.
You've lived more life.
Yeah, exactly. But doesn't the book also talk about how men are waiting longer to settle down too?
Yes, that's right.
What?
There's this really interesting shift that the book points out about men's attitudes towards marriage.
Okay.
They're delaying commitment.
Yeah.
Much longer than they used to.
Right.
So it creates a whole new dating dynamic.
Okay. This is where it gets good.
Yes.
Because the book describes 5 distinct Mr. profiles of single men.
Yes.
And honestly, some of these are so spot on.
I know. I love these profiles.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mr. Y by the cow.
Okay.
What are his characteristics? And how can recognizing this type help our listener?
So Mr. Y by the cow is the classic commitment phobe.
Mm-hmm.
He loves all the perks of being in a relationship without actually wanting to fully commit.
Okay.
So he is content to get the milk for free, so to speak.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And he doesn't see the need to buy the cow.
Right. To actually make it official.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, I know a few Mr. Y by the cows in my type.
I think we all do.
Right.
So how can knowing this help? Like, how can recognizing this type help?
Well, I think recognizing it can help you avoid wasting time. Okay.
In a relationship?
Yeah.
That's just not going anywhere.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah. It's about being discerning.
Yeah.
And, recognizing these patterns so you can make really informed choices about who you're going to invest your time and energy in.
That makes sense. And what about this whole concept of the dating treadmill?
Yes.
That feeling of like constantly going on dates but never actually finding a real connection.
Totally. The book describes this so well. They call it the dismal dating treadmill.
Okay. Dismal dating treadmill. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this feeling of, like you said, just going through the motions, date after date.
Yeah.
But you're not finding a real spark.
It can feel so exhausting.
It can.
Like you're putting in all this effort.
It is.
But it's leading nowhere.
It's a cycle of like hope and then disappointment.
Right.
And then hope and then disappointment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So how would you say our listener could recognize if they're on this treadmill?
Well, the book talks about some of the signs of dating fatigue. And it's things like, you feel less excited to get ready for the dates. You're keeping notes to remember who you've met.
Oh, my God.
You're dedicating a separate device just for all your dating app notifications.
Oh, wow.
So those are some pretty clear signs that you might be on that dismal dating treadmill.
Wow. I am definitely guilty of the note-taking.
Yeah.
To write things down. But what I find really interesting is how the author ties this back to the industrial dating complex.
Yes.
It's like this whole system is set up to keep us constantly dating and consuming all this relationship advice.
Yes.
Even if it's not leading to meaningful connections.
Exactly. And the book encourages you to step back from all that frenzy.
Okay.
And just consider,
Yeah.
Is this really serving you?
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's like you get so caught up in the game that you lose sight of what you're even looking for.
You forget why you're doing it.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes, like stepping off the treadmill and like taking a break
Absolutely.
could be the best thing.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do.
Okay. So stepping off the treadmill.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, the book also talks about the role of ego in dating.
Yes.
And I'm curious to hear more about that. Is it about being more aware of how your ego might be influencing your dating choices?
Yeah, absolutely. The book really explores how our egos can drive us to seek validation.
Okay.
Even from partners that we're not genuinely interested in.
Yeah, I think we've all been there. I think
we've all done that.
Maybe flattered by someone's attention.
Yeah.
But you don't actually...
You don't really see a future.
Yeah.
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 Totally. It's like we can get really caught up in the chase, the thrill of being pursued.
Right.
And that can completely overshadow true compatibility.
I see. I see. And the book uses this really powerful analogy of the catch and release dynamic. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So it compares some men's dating behavior to fishing.
Okay.
So they're intensely pursuing a woman. But once they've caught her, meaning like they've won her over, they lose interest and they move on.
Oh, wow. That's a little harsh, but...
It's tough, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I can see how it fits.
Yeah.
So they get more satisfaction from the chase than from the relationship.
The actual relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the woman, that can be so...
It can be so confusing and hurtful.
Yeah. It's like, what did I do wrong?
Right. You start questioning yourself.
Right. And it can really mess with your self-esteem.
It can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how can we use this information to help us?
Well, I think understanding this catch and release dynamic can really help you to recognize those red flags early on.
Right.
And avoid getting caught in these unhealthy cycles.
So it's about protecting yourself.
Yes.
Emotionally.
Absolutely.
And recognizing when someone's behavior is more about their ego than about...
a genuine interest in you.
Okay, great. So we talked about the meantime, we talked about the dating treadmill, we talked about the role of ego.
Yeah.
What other...
Lots to think about.
Yeah, what other like intriguing concepts does the book explore?
Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It delves into the ugly duckling syndrome.
Ooh, ugly duckling syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah. So it's that, that unexpected attraction that you develop for someone that you initially weren't that into.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've all had that moment where someone kind of grows on you over time.
Yeah.
What makes the book's take on this unique, though?
Well, it uses this idea of the ugly duckling transforming into a swan.
Okay.
So it's suggesting that sometimes, those who might not initially seem like your type can become surprisingly attractive once you start to appreciate their inner qualities.
So it's about kind of looking beyond the surface level.
Exactly.
And getting to know someone on a deeper level.
Deeper level, yeah.
Okay, so this can lead to some really beautiful relationships.
It can.
But the book also cautions about the potential for heartbreak.
For heartbreak.
In these scenarios.
Yeah, it's like, what happens if the person you've come to see is this amazing swan doesn't actually reciprocate those feelings?
Right. Oof, that's tough.
It can be really tough.
Yeah.
And so I think, the book really emphasizes the importance of being honest with yourself about your feelings and your expectations in those situations.
So if you find yourself falling for someone that you initially weren't attracted to, make sure you're not just getting caught up in the idea of them.
Yes.
Or the potential.
The potential,
of what they could be.
Exactly. It's like, am I truly drawn to this person, or am I just projecting my own, desires onto them?
That's a really good question to ask yourself. And the book actually provides a lot of questions
that
just help you discern that.
Yes.
Like, are you developing genuine feelings, or are you just caught in an ego-driven cycle?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It encourages you to really pay attention to your emotions and your motivations.
Okay.
Are you feeling a genuine connection, or are you just seeking validation or trying to fill some void?
Those are really important questions to consider.
Yeah.
And I remember the book also dives into the science of love a little bit.
Yes. It talks about how romantic love actually affects the brain.
Okay.
And compares it to an addiction.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
So it explains how, certain chemicals are released in our brains when we fall in love.
Right.
And it creates those really intense feelings of euphoria and attachment.
So it's like a natural high.
It is. It's like a natural high.
Okay.
And like any addiction,
yeah,
it can be really hard to break free.
Right.
Even when you know logically that a relationship might not be right for you.
That explains why breakups are so painful.
Exactly.
And why it's so hard to move on.
It is.
Even when you know it's for the best.
It can be so hard to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And the book offers some insights into how to navigate those intense feelings and make choices that support your emotional well-being.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about understanding
Yes.
those biological and psychological factors that are at play.
That are at play, yeah.
When we're falling in love.
Exactly.
To help us make more conscious decisions.
It empowers you to make more conscious decisions in your dating life.
I like that. Okay. So we've talked a lot about the challenges and the pitfalls of dating. But the book also emphasizes that it's really important to recognize those mean times as valuable learning experiences.
I love that.
Okay.
Because every relationship, even those that don't last,
right,
can teach you something about yourself.
Yeah.
What you want and what you don't want in a partner.
So rather than seeing them as failures, there are opportunities for growth.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about embracing that journey and trusting that each experience is bringing you closer to the right person.
I love that. And ultimately, the book is all about finding your way off the dating treadmill.
It is.
And creating a dating experience that feels authentic and fulfilling.
That feels good.
Yeah.
For you.
Absolutely. It encourages you to trust your instincts, you know.
Right.
Recognize those societal pressures that might be influencing your choices and just make conscious decisions to break free from those unhealthy dating patterns.
So what are some practical steps our listener can take to break free?
Well, the book suggests, limiting your reliance on online dating.
Okay.
Focusing more on building those connections in real life. Slowing down the pace of dating.
Okay.
And being willing to say no to dates that just don't feel right.
I think that last one is so important because so often we feel this pressure
We do.
to say yes to every date.
Even if we're not feeling it.
It's like that fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
You don't want to miss an opportunity.
Exactly.
But the book encourages you to honor your intuition.
Yeah.
And only say yes to the dates that genuinely excite you.
I like that. And what about this idea of slowing down the pace of dating? What does that look like?
Well, it's about, resisting that urge to rush into things. Taking your time to really get to know someone.
Okay.
Before, defining their relationship or putting a label on it.
So rather than jumping into exclusivity right away,
Yeah.
it's just about enjoy
the process.
the process of getting to know someone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And this allows you to observe, how someone treats you, how they communicate, how they handle conflict.
Right.
All those important things that you might not see in those, initial stages of dating.
That's such a good point because it's so easy.
It is.
To get caught up
Yeah.
in the excitement
The excitement.
of a new connection. Yeah.
And to kind of overlook those red flags.
Totally. You get swept away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the book encourages you to be mindful and discerning, to really pay attention to those subtle cues that might be telling you something's not quite right.
So it's like trusting your gut.
Yes.
And not letting those rose-colored glasses cloud your judgment.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that you deserve to be in a relationship where you feel respected and valued and cherished.
Yes, you deserve to be with someone
You do.
who treats you well
Yes.
and makes you happy.
And makes you happy. And it starts with valuing yourself and recognizing your own worth.
And speaking of self-worth,
Yeah.
the book also addresses those societal pressures
Yes.
that women face.
Yes.
The ticking clock anxiety,
Totally.
that feeling like
Yeah.
you need to be married
You're falling behind.
by a certain age.
Yes. The book challenges those expectations.
Okay.
And reminds you that your worth is not defined by your relationship status.
It's about defining success and happiness on your own terms.
So rather than feeling like you're falling behind,
Right.
it's about
Celebrate your journey.
celebrating your journey.
Embrace where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And it also highlights the benefits of taking your time and waiting for the right person.
And what are some of those benefits?
Well, the book points out that women who wait longer to marry are often more financially stable.
Okay.
They have a stronger sense of self. They've had more time to pursue their passions,
Right.
to build those fulfilling lives independent of a partner.
So it's not about waiting around
No,
for a man to complete you.
it's not.
It's about creating a life
Create a life you love.
You love, and finding a partner who
Yeah.
complements
Oh,
that.
complements that. Yeah.
I love that. And the book also doesn't shy away from addressing
I like that.
those differences in how men and women
Yes.
approach dating and relationships.
Yes. It dives into those evolving expectations around relationships
Okay.
and how men are navigating this new landscape as well.
And we touched on this earlier with those Mr. Profiles.
We did.
Can we dive a little deeper into some of those?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mr. Walt Go Changing.
Okay.
Who is he, and how can recognizing this type benefit our listener?
So Mr. Walt Go Changing is perfectly content with his bachelor lifestyle,
Okay.
and he doesn't see a need for a serious relationship.
Oh, the eternal bachelor.
He's the eternal bachelor.
Okay.
You know, he might be charming and fun to be around,
Yeah.
but ultimately he's just resistant to change and commitment.
So if you're looking for something long-term,
Yes.
recognizing this
Recognizing that.
can save you
Yeah.
a lot of heartache.
A lot of heartache and frustration.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about recognizing those fundamental differences in relationship goals
Right.
and not trying to force something that's just not meant to be.
Right. And what about Mr. Perfect 10?
Mr. Perfect 10. Oh, sounds so good, right?
Yeah, he sounds...
He's the guy that seems to have it all.
Right.
He's successful. He's attractive.
Yeah.
He's charming.
Almost too good to be true.
He is. But, you know, the book cautions that sometimes those seemingly perfect exteriors can mask deeper insecurities or emotional unavailability.
Oh, so it's a reminder to look beyond the surface.
Look beyond the surface.
And really get to know someone
Yes.
before getting too invested.
Get to know them before you get too invested.
Okay.
Yeah. And remember, no one is perfect.
Right.
And those flaws and imperfections are often what make us unique and interesting.
I like that. Now, the book also talks about the importance of recognizing your own patterns and tendencies in dating.
It does.
What are some insights that it offers in that area?
Well, the book encourages you to examine your past relationships and to notice any recurring themes or patterns.
Okay.
You know, for example, do you tend to fall for the same type of guy even if those relationships haven't been healthy?
It's like that saying, we repeat what we don't repair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the book really emphasizes the importance of becoming aware of those unconscious patterns.
Right.
So you can start making different choices.
So understanding your own attachment style.
Yes.
Triggers your tendencies.
Your tendencies, yeah.
So you can break free from those cycles.
Break free from those cycles that aren't serving you.
That aren't serving you.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of creating a different experience, the book also dives into the importance.
It does setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries is so crucial.
Okay.
And the book emphasizes, the need to communicate your needs and expectations clearly and assertively.
So being honest with yourself and with your partner.
Yes, about what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not.
Yeah.
And recognizing that setting those boundaries is a form of self-respect.
Okay.
It's about valuing yourself and your time.
What about this idea of like stepping off that dismal dating treadmill?
And investing your energy in other areas of your life.
Yeah, I think that's so important because the book emphasizes that, dating should just be one aspect of your life.
Okay.
Not the sole focus of your life.
Right.
So it encourages you to invest your time and energy in things that bring you joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
Whether that's, your career, your hobbies, your friendships, your personal growth.
So creating a rich and fulfilling life.
Yes.
Regardless
of your relationship status. And when you're feeling happy and fulfilled in those other areas of your life, you naturally just radiate this more attractive and magnetic energy.
That makes sense. It's like you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and desperately seeking validation from a partner.
Validation from a partner, yeah.
It's like you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and desperately seeking validation from a partner. You're already whole and complete on your own.
Right. You're already a whole person.
Yeah. It's been so insightful.
It has.
I feel like we've covered so much ground from the meantime man.
We have.
And the dating treadmill to the ugly duckling syndrome.
Yeah.
The role of ego in dating. Is there one key message from the book that you think our listeners should take away from all of this?
I think the most empowering message is that you have the power to create the love life that you want.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not about waiting for love to find you or settling for whatever comes your way.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices and setting boundaries and trusting your intuition.
Yeah, it's about being the author of your own love story.
Absolutely. And it starts with getting really clear about what you want in a partner and what kind of relationship you want.
And recognizing those patterns
Hmm.
and tendencies
Yes.
within yourself
Yes, within yourself.
that might be keeping you stuck
Right.
or preventing you.
Those things that are holding you back
Yeah.
from finding the love that you deserve.
And recognizing those mean times, not as failures,
Yeah.
but as valuable.
As learning experiences.
Learning experiences.
Yeah, that are guiding you towards the right relationship.
Even those relationships that don't work out
Yes.
can teach us so much.
They can teach you so much about yourself, and you know what you want and what you don't want.
So it's really about reframing those experiences as opportunities for growth.
Opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
It's about embracing that journey and trusting that, every experience, whether it's positive or negative, is bringing you closer to the love that you're looking for.
And it's about remembering that you are worthy.
You are.
You are worthy of love.
Regardless. Regardless of your past experiences, your relationship status, or your age.
I love that. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure talking about this with you.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you gained some valuable insights from this conversation and that you feel empowered to create a love life that is truly fulfilling and joyful for you. So until next time, take care.